That's our commitment to our clients saying like, we know this works. So the confidence we have in our own devices and our own products, it really instills that confidence in our clients as well. So from the hop, having like really well thought out curated packages that align with your clients' goals is very important.
Welcome to The Expansion Code. I'm Heather, and I could not be more excited to finally launch this podcast. This is the space where we dive into all things business, growth, leadership, and team expansion. I am really passionate about building something bigger than myself, sharing knowledge, and creating opportunities for others to thrive. I started solo, and now I lead a team of over 50, so trust me, I know the highs and the challenges and the incredible moments that come with scaling a business. Throughout this podcast, I'll be sharing insights, strategies, and conversations with some truly incredible guests. We are going to cover everything from marketing and leadership to mindset shifts and business expansion. So my goal is to give you real actionable takeaways that you can apply to your own journey. Let's dive in, learn together, and unlock what's next. Welcome to The Expansion Code. Welcome back to another episode of The Expansion Code with Heather Dick. That is me, your host, as you know. Today, I am joined with a good friend of mine, Justine Martinson. She is the CEO and founder of Lipstick Empire, and she is an absolute badass powerhouse female entrepreneur who I am blessed to know. And today, we are going to be diving into her background of Lipstick Empire, how she founded it, the point behind it, and also her client retention. And I know that all of the listeners today are going to get so much value out of hearing your story, Justine, because you are just an incredible business person. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I just loved
Good.
that intro. Like, I need you to follow me around. That was amazing.
We can what we'll do is like back in the 80s, you know, the boom boxes that
Yep.
people had on their shoulders.
Mhm.
You can do that, and then you can just maybe a little picture of me because I need a
Yep.
clone.
I love that. My
Okay,
hype girl. You'll
perfect.
just come with me everywhere I go.
International Hype Girl for hire. Okay, so why don't you give me a little bit of background about yourself, Lipstick Empire, how it came to be, and then we'll dive in.
Sounds great. So this story goes way back. Actually, in utero is where I think I came up with plans for Lipstick Empire and my strategy. And because as far back as I can remember, I'm thinking even 2 years old, when I got my first Barbie doll, I knew that making people look good and feel good was my passion. And from that moment on, I've been so focused on like, how can I make this a career? It was just such a big part of my existence and my life and my personality and who I am that it just, I had an unfair advantage in life because I've always known what I wanted to do and I get to live my dreams. So yeah, so I came up with this idea at, a very young age that I was going to have a spa and I was going to go and get my aesthetics training and then build this beautiful space. And that's exactly what I did. So I traveled for a year right out of high school, went to Australia, just lived my life, did all the things, and then came back and took my aesthetics training in Red Deer and just it was just as I thought. Like I loved every moment of it. And then as soon as I graduated, I was ready to hit the ground running. I was so fortunate because this would have been, I'm going to age myself, Heather, but that's okay. Doesn't matter.
That's
It's
okay.
all good.
I'm 40. I'm
This would
40,
have
girl.
been 19 years ago now. 18. Yep,
Wow.
19 years ago now. Yep,
Wow.
when like the aesthetics landscape was very different. So the
Yes.
rise of medical aesthetics was like that was kind of a brand new thing to everybody. And I just was so fascinated by the beauty side mixed with science and the technology that I couldn't wait to learn more. So I made sure I got top marks because I am a teacher's pet. That is my personality. I made sure that I, just did all the extra things to get extra credit and try to put myself on the map. And I was hired by a doctor right out of aesthetic school, which at that time didn't happen.
Never.
And
Yep.
she trained me on the lasers and the medical aesthetic side of things. And I became her medical assistant. And we did acne treatments day in and day out. And I just got such a feel for that world of elevated aesthetics that could really drive change, and that transformative act between you and your client, where it's like, this is so cliche, but it's my favorite. It's so much more than skin deep, because you could just
Mm.
see people's personalities changing when they came in for that first appointment. And they have, it's a teenager with so much acne and they're feeling self-conscious, and then to see the transition over time and their confidence just soar, it's it just made, I don't know, I felt like it was making such an impact. So yeah.
And you were making an impact. And I
Yes.
honestly think that, not that it's not easy for businesses to make it outside of the beginning of a trend, but you were
Yeah.
basically cutting edge um 19 years ago. Like you said, medical aesthetics, it wasn't a thing. It was something that was
Hmm.
being introduced to people. Now you
Yeah.
can't throw a rock without hitting a medi spa.
Nope. So it was, yeah, it was very different. And everything we did was just so cutting edge. And I think of the laser treatments that I was doing back then, and like the EMLA and the numbing cream and the hours that it took to do treatments, and like where we've come. It's
Yeah.
just been great to be a part of it and be kind of like there at the ground floor and to
Yeah.
grow in this industry. Yeah, I really did
So
grow up in this industry. So,
you did,
hmm,
which is I love that because it really you embody it, and I think
yeah.
that your clients will um they experience that when they're in your space. Even if you're not there on a day-to-day
Mhm.
basis anymore, they can feel that love and that passion.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's just like that connection and building that community and making sure that you're there to support your people. My job, and I always say this to my team, is my job's to take care of the people that take care of the people. Like, I'm there to
Mhm.
take care of my team who are taking care of their clients. And I'm there to make sure everyone that comes into that space is so loved, so well taken care of, and feels seen, safe, and yeah, just welcome.
So, what year did you start Lipstick Empire then?
So,
Or
Lipstick
get your commercial space?
Yeah, 2013, I
Okay.
started Lipstick Empire, but I didn't have my current space at that moment. I actually started out of a hair salon. I rented two
Mm.
small rooms that were maybe 100 square feet each. And I had those two rooms at the back of the hair salon, and I had a lot of lasers and a lot of clients, about 200 clients. And I
Wow.
would put all my lasers and my devices in one room, and then I'd have my bed and everything set up in the other room, and I would just play Tetris all day. I'd wheel my lasers in and out of the one room into my client room, and I just made it happen. And I outgrew that space like the day before I moved into it. So I was bursting at the seams and knew that I needed to find a bigger space and grow this business and just really like grow a team. And so I had my brother, who is a commercial realtor, and he was on the hunt and looking for a space for me. But this one day, I just had something come over me, and I'm like, I'm going to go on, again, this is going to age me too, Kijiji. I'm going to go on Kijiji, just see what's out there. And
Yeah.
I manifested this. I knew exactly what I wanted, and I knew it was going to come to me. And on Kijiji, there was a space that was formerly a massage clinic, and it was
Mm.
all set up, and something had happened where they just couldn't continue on with their lease. It was, the space was newly renovated, the beds were in there, like everything you needed for a spa, like it was turnkey, it was there on
Wow.
124th Street. I it just, it was in my head, and it was like it just came to fruition. And so I jumped at that opportunity, and we contacted the landlord, and he said, actually, it's not available. They're going to stay. And I said, okay, but no, like this was it. This was my space. Like, it was 1,600 square feet, four rooms, like a beautiful foyer, beautiful like client care area. And I didn't get it. And I was so upset. And I just, my brother was so supportive, and he said, no, you just need to stay positive. We'll find something else. Maybe let's do a new build. I didn't want that. I just was ready
Yeah.
to get going.
Yeah.
So I just created my little vision board, and I actually, sounds creepy, but I took a picture of the space that I have now, and I put, like, I superimposed my logo on the space, and I put it on my board, and I just kept it in my thoughts. And I went to Big Valley a couple weeks later and I got a call. You know what? It fell through. It's yours. And it just was so, so meant to be.
Wow.
So
I have goosebumps.
thank you.
I
I just,
love
it,
that.
it was truly, truly meant to be my space.
Yeah.
So
Kate, can we go back a little bit to your true when you were operating out of the 2 treatment rooms? You said you had
yeah.
200 clients. How did you get those clients?
So worked in dermatology before. I worked for the president of Derm in Canada. I worked at a couple different spas. I actually was a general manager of one. So
Okay.
just started forming relationships over the years, and I took clients 12 to 14 hours a day. I really just didn't stop. And every client that I came into contact with became like a friend, it became like family. And that's how I built my clientele. It was just like we were having, coffee, but I was torturing them
Yeah.
and they were paying me for it. No, for good
Yeah.
reason. But I
Yeah.
just feel so grateful for the relationships and the people that I've met, and they just rallied around me, and opportunities would come up, and I jumped at them. So I was able at a very young age to really see all sides of this business and start to see like where I really wanted to be and where my fit was. And it was in a management or ownership role where I could still do what I loved and be a part of an industry that I love, but wasn't necessarily taking clients 14 hours a day.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Honestly, so Justine and I, a little backstory, Justine and I had lunch the other day, which is basically just a rerun of our podcast because I was
Yeah.
like, this is incredible. Because I didn't know um, so much of your backstory, but I knew that you had an incredible client base and that client base lasted through COVID.
Hmm.
And I was like, man, we got to tell my listeners this because
Yes.
I think that especially in modern day business, we forget about the most important person, and that's our client.
Hmm.
We're focusing on social media, we're focusing on how pretty our aesthetic is, and all of those
Yeah.
things matter, of course. They're
Hmm.
puzzle pieces to the big picture.
Yeah.
But if you don't have people in your bed, if you don't have people in your chair, you got
Yeah.
nothing, sister.
Heads and beds, baby. Like that's what's
Yeah.
the most important. And without our clients, we don't have anything.
Yeah.
So during COVID, that was the biggest piece. I just acted like obviously something was going on, of course. Like we were
Yeah.
closed for 6.5 months, but we just stayed connected with our clients. We have a membership program that I can't wait to talk more about. And we just made sure that every one of our members was in the loop, knew what was going on. My general manager and I were hand delivering products to all of our clients. We kept posting on socials, kept educating people, and just like, made sure they knew that, we were all in this together. But, I hate that.
Those
Sorry,
things, they're
but
so it's like cringy now,
it's
all of the
so
things that you say.
cringy, but I
This is
had
an
to say it.
unprecedented time,
I had
like
to
all this
say
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
But we did some really cute things. We had these pink balloons and we put little love letters for our clients in them. And
Cute.
when we deliver their products, because we couldn't see anyone, right? We had to leave it on their
Yeah.
step. So we do that. It just like those were the things that were memorable and just yeah, they knew they were cared for. So
Yeah. And you do care for your clients. So I want to talk about because I came from a background in Estee Lauder back in the day when we would have
mm,
client cards, we would write down their favorite
yeah.
products, we would write down their favorite treatment,
Hmm.
and people are missing that nowadays. People are missing that extra
Yeah.
touch that businesses are going and or that extra mile. And so I would love to hear your protocol with your clients and what you do for them on a regular basis and how you train your team to handle them.
Yeah, so I think from start to finish, like now things are a little bit different because we've automated everything.
Right.
So when a client first reaches out to us, then we send them the intake forms and they can do everything virtually, which is great because we can get a little bit more history from that
Right.
client. And it's all in the prep work. So my team makes sure they're going through those forms, they're making sure there's no allergies, they're really listening to the concerns of the client before they've even come through the door. And we've set up our intake form to really ask clarifying questions so we can solve a problem immediately, if not sooner. Because that's what
Mm,
it is. People are coming to us with a need or a concern, and it's our job to make sure we can solve that problem for them in the most effective and efficient way possible. So it starts with that intake form, and then and the consultation is so important. And that time with that client to not feel rushed and to really hear them out. And we ask questions like, do you have a special event coming up? Like something so simple. Like,
right.
what are you, everyone has something in the back of their mind that they're getting ready for, or they want to look or feel like their best selves for. And so we create a plan, like a beauty plan that's it's this is where we're at. This is our baseline. This is where we want to be. What do we do in between this time to get you to where you want to be? So that's important. I have talked at length and mentored my team that it is, yes, it's about the protocol of the treatment. Yes, that is important, but everything is customized. It is not a one size fits all. And the most important thing is to make sure you are really listening to that client. And my team, everybody does that. They all have those cards that you were talking about where they write little details about their client, the vacation they're about to go on, or something
Love it.
exciting in their life. And every single client is like, how'd you remember that? How did like just that level of care is what keeps people coming back. Because
Totally.
at the end of the day, what places do we have where we can come and just completely zone out, and we're safe, we're comfortable, we're warm, we can just come as we are and just be excited to be there and feel good and look good and just leave a little bit, I don't know, walk out a little bit taller.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
totally agree. And honestly, our industry is the best opportunity for people to do that. Our hair
Yeah.
salons, nails,
Hmm. For
aesthetics.
therapists.
We are
Hmm.
therapists, and we do become friends with our clients.
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful thing. It's
Hmm.
a beautiful thing that we are able to create these relationships on a regular basis. We're able to
Yeah.
maintain these relationships, and watch people grow throughout their lives. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing. But
Hmm.
we have to put in the effort. It's just like any kind of relationship. We have to make those efforts,
Yeah.
to remember their vacation, the fact that
Hmm.
their daughter just graduated, they got a
Hmm.
new puppy, all of these things.
Yeah.
Um, and I love that you train your team to write those things down on some
Hmm.
sort of client card, because we think we'll remember, but we never do, you know?
No, no. And I think also putting the right people in the right roles, like with my team, I have good people first. Like they are genuine, caring, kind people.
Yeah.
And like they do want to know about you and they
Yeah.
do want to take care of you. And it's so authentic. And so that's how they've been able to grow their client base, as well. So it's
Yeah.
very impressive. I'm very proud of my team.
Aw, yeah. Well, you should be
Hmm.
proud of yourself too. And
Oh, thank you.
yeah, good job on saying thank you.
Yeah.
Lots of times we're like, oh, it's our team, but
Hmm.
yeah, it starts from the top, right? I don't normally talk about negative things on this
Hmm.
show. This is my radio show now.
Yeah, I love that.
But I would like to hear how you handle negative feedback from a client if you ever get negative feedback.
Yeah, it's very rare. We do
Yeah.
have a survey that goes out after every service because I want people to be able to have a space where they can, write freely how they felt, if they were taken care of, if we missed the mark on anything,
Yeah.
right? So that service is for them. So we want to make sure that it's up to their standards. So if we get anything less than a 5 star, we're concerned. It's the flags go off. And so I'm always reaching out to that client. I call them right away and I just have a conversation. I introduce myself and I just say, like, it is so important for me and my team to make sure that you are taken care of. I just want you to, walk me through your experience and let me know if there's anything we could do to improve for next time. And by the end of it, like even if they're upset, a lot of times it's like, oh, there was no parking and like things that were out of our control.
Totally. Yeah.
But, sometimes it's like, I thought during this clinical facial, I'd get a half an hour massage. And it's like, okay, well,
Mm.
and then oftentimes you're like, oh, well, I should have asked more questions because, we obviously can't, if we're doing a chemical peel or a higher level service, we can't massage over that. So they just,
Right.
maybe didn't know. So a little bit more education. And I would say 9 times out of 10, that like, honestly, the problem is diffused and they're a raving client and they're back and
Mhm.
they're excited. So I guess I deal with it head on.
Yeah.
So, and I don't take offense. I take it as an opportunity to grow and do better. And I will have a conversation with my team because they also take it very seriously if we get a 4 star or lower.
How have you created a team that takes it so seriously? Like I find in my team also takes it very
Hmm.
seriously, but um y- we'll hear business owners, especially in the aesthetics industry, where they don't feel that way. Like their staff members are kind of like clock in, clock out. Is there something that you do to build that um respect, that level of care? Like how do you nurture that with your team?
Well, first of all, it's the confidence that they have in themselves and in their career. So, one thing that I have made my absolute mission is to create sorry, let me start again.
No, that's okay.
Create careers in an industry that is very often just creating jobs and can be
Right.
very transient and
Mm.
high turnover. And the reason that my team takes everything personally and this so seriously, if they do get a bad review, which, like I said, doesn't happen very often, is because this is their career. They get to have
Mm.
their own business within my business. I think that having autonomy within your career is so important.
Mhm.
And they're very respectful of me and the space and one another, but they get to come to me with their creative ideas. They get to have a business plan. Like all my staff members have their own business coach. They get leadership training, they get marketing training, they get sales training, they get business training because it is important for growth. And so to them, it's like, of course I take it seriously. This is my business. This is my
I
livelihood.
That's so I freaking love that, Justine. I think that autonomy is the perfect word for that
Hmm.
because we gone are the days of like the tyrant salon spa owner,
Hmm.
where it's like these are my puppets and I'm going to make them do whatever they
Yeah.
want. People don't want that anymore. They
No.
want to feel independent, they want to feel inspired, empowered, and
Mhm.
good for you. I think that speaks very very highly of the kind of leader that you are.
Thank you. And we have very low turnover. And in the past year, we have had some transition of, staff members that had been there for 5, 6 years. And where did they go? They went next level. They went to educate or, into laser sales. And I gave them my blessing, of course, the most beautiful references. And that's how it should be. Like, this is, yes, of course, I want them to stay with me. We're a family, but people do move on, and I
Yeah.
love that maybe in some small way I've empowered them to have the confidence to do exactly what they want to do in their career.
Okay, we need to take a little break because, shocker, this podcast is brought to you by my flagship company, Blush, and I need to give a shout out. So, not only does Blush sponsor my lavish lifestyle, it also sponsors this podcast. Shouts. If you know me, you know that I do not play around when it comes to beauty and self care, and that's why Blush is your one stop shop for looking and feeling your best. We genuinely do it all: hair, makeup, nails, massage, tattoo, medi spa. Basically, if it makes you feel like a goddess, we probably offer it. So, whether you're looking for a fresh balayage or a relaxing massage or a little of that I woke up like this glow, we've got the experts to make it happen. Think of it as self care, but with a little extra love, sunshine, and family. And actually, with our most recent expansion, we now have a private gym, physiotherapy, chiropractic services, and a lot more to help your body. So, if you are ready to treat yourself, book an appointment at Blush Artistry because let's be honest, life's too short for bad hair and uneven eyeliner. You can find us at blush-artistry.ca or over on Instagram at blushartistrymua. Back to the episode. It is really hard as a business owner to lose like a rocket
Mhm.
employee. It's really challenging.
Oh,
It's
it's a
it's hard
hit.
to
Hmm.
take. Yeah,
Hmm.
it is, and it's It's hard not to take it personally. It's hard
Yeah.
not to lose sleep, and
Hmm.
but I feel like you're a very introspective person, so you could say like, "What have I done? What could I have done
Hmm.
differently?" And if there isn't, or you've exhausted all options, you're like, "Okay, well, this is the
Yeah.
season, and the season's over."
Yes. I'm always hurt. I'm always like a little bit
I
sad.
know.
I am reflective, but I do get it, and I'm always happy for people when they move on, even though sometimes it's a bit of a hit. It's, I deal with it and sit in the shit and I get over it.
Yeah,
So,
sit in the shit. It's
uh-huh.
and it's as business owners, as leaders of teams, we are training our people to be the best that they possibly can
Hmm.
be. And we are
Yeah.
taking a very big risk
Yeah.
that they might take all of the information and education we've given them and move on. And that's just
Yeah.
part of having a team.
It is. And I've had so many people say that to me. Well, you invest so much in your team. Like this past year, I invested 10 plus thousand in each one of my team members. Like that's
Wow.
just in one year. And, I had people move on. And so many people around me are like, well, you need to charge them for that. Or why don't you start like having your team pay for their education? Absolutely not. Anyone that works under this roof will have the highest level of education and training. That is one of my core values. And of course, I'm going to invest and I'll do it again and I'll do it again and I'll do it again. So sometimes it doesn't work out, but 90% of the time it does.
Well, and it's proof is in the pudding. It is working
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Right. Thank you. So,
Like
mhm.
and that those people that have that mentality, they're just scared. That's like
Yeah.
a fear
Hmm.
mentality, a lack mentality. That's like
Yep.
holding everything close to the chest, and that
Hmm.
doesn't get you anywhere. We have to
It
share.
doesn't. Yep. I agree. So
Yeah,
that's just my motto, and I've lived by it. And you're right. It's been working.
I love it. What would you say like your environment, your branding,
Hmm.
um, and consistency? What do you think that plays? Um, into when you're making clients and your team member feel at home? Like, do you think that has a really big impact, or do you think it's,
I
what's
think
your take?
100%. Okay, so for
Yeah.
me, there's no accidents. Like, I mean, I am a walking billboard for this business, as you
Yeah.
can see.
Literally,
I
if you're watching on YouTube, she's wearing a Lipstick Empire
I'm
sweater.
wearing, yes, a Lipstick Empire sweater. My brand is me. I am my brand. I am the avatar for Lipstick Empire. It is just this sparkly rose gold bubble that I've created, this safe, inclusive space for people. And I just wanted my branding to be so reflective of who I am as a person, who my team members are, and also just like the warm welcoming environment that they're going to be stepping into. So that has played a massive role, and everything to me needs to be cohesive. I'm all about connecting the dots in business, in marketing, and like getting out into the community, and I practice what I preach. I walk the walk. I'm the one. I put in the work. I show up. I like, and that's what it is. So what you see is what you get. And I think that is really disarming for people. And they're like, oh, oftentimes I've had experiences in the beauty industry where I felt like I was being snubbed or someone was looking down on me, and never do we ever hear that. It's all about, I feel so
Mm.
empowered. I felt so great. Oh, I met Justine at an event. I can't wait to come and support her. I can't. So I think our social media too, the videos that we create, I want to show everyone's personality so you know who you're going to be seeing. And when you walk through the door, I've had multiple people say this. They're like, well, I want to see Courtney because I just love her videos. I love her personality. She's so funny. And
Oh,
they
I
feel
love
like they
that.
know her and they
Yeah.
feel like they know me, but they've never actually met us
Yeah.
a lot of times. So, yeah.
Is there anything that you do in your space, like decor wise, interior wise, that makes people feel warm and welcoming?
Yeah, everything's fluffy, everything's soft, everything smells good. It's
Oh,
very
that's a
like,
dream.
yeah, everything is very textural. It's so curated. It's beautiful. And it feels glamorous and luxe. So when
Yeah.
you walk into the space, there's the big chandeliers, and you're greeted by our beauty concierge, and you're offered water, and then we have slippers and a little heated, um, like a little heater. I can't
Okay.
think of the name of it right now.
It's fine.
Heater. And
We're both very
So
tired.
we are both very tired. I just got back from Europe. I'm probably still jet lagged. Anyways, I can make all the excuses, but I couldn't think of the word for heater. Anyway, so warm slippers and just like those little touches that people just they look for, that little like ways to connect. And it can be
Mhm.
so simple. But just those are the things that set you apart. And the amount of reviews we get where it's like, I just loved the slippers, like the water in the slippers. Like, how simple is that? We're
Yeah.
giving you a bottle of water and getting you some warm slippers. And it's just like, it's memorable.
Yeah.
It's memorable. So
Yeah.
people are always greeted with the utmost respect. And we're like little puppies. When you come in, we're so excited to see you. We can't wait to see you. And that's the way it should be. So I do think like people walk in, they can their shoulders drop, they can take a breath. And we have a lot of people, a lot of professionals that come from a busy day at work, and we have moms and dads that are coming. Life is hectic. Like life is
Yeah.
busy. When you walk into that space, that is your time.
Mhm.
So, like I said, shoulders drop, they can breathe. That's for them. And yeah, they just feel so great.
I
So,
love that. And environment and consistency is so important for
hmm
someone that's opening a business, moving into a commercial space, even if you're renting a treatment room.
hmm
Um, you know, the way that you feel in the space is the way that your
hmm
clients are going to feel in the space.
yeah,
And, I think about blush like the what you walk into, because blush it's huge, right? There's so many
hmm
just like wings of blush.
yeah,
Um, it's busy, it's the
yeah,
salon,
hmm
but we don't want people to feel relaxed at in the front area of
yeah,
blush, it's impossible. But in the
hmm
spa, however, the doors are closed, it's quiet, it's dark,
hmm
it's warm,
yeah,
there's soft those kind of things, they go, like you said, the water and the slippers, like, it just goes the extra mile, and it's a
hmm
tiny little, expense, but it's
yeah.
huge.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and the
before
impact.
COVID, we would serve coffees and we would serve like wine and all that, but it's just we kind of have found that most people are good when they get there.
Mhm.
They just want their water, they want their slippers, they're ready to get in and just completely relax. So it was just another thing that I don't know, they just didn't think it was necessary. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
good, and that's trying things, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
it's an expensive your clients don't want that, and I think as we grow as business owners, we'll try things and they don't work out, or sometimes they do,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
But if you think about it, it's like, here's your coffee. Okay, now you're gonna go lie down for an hour. It's like
Totally.
it didn't necessarily make sense.
You
So
need, like, a really long
I
straw to
know.
that, like,
Yes,
it can
yeah. So
go.
just things like that. And then I did
Yeah.
find with COVID, because we had to take so many things away. Like we had a
Mm,
beautiful couch and we had to put chairs there instead of the couch to like really separate people. I'm like, what can I do in the space to like really make it feel inviting and warm? And so I just added different elements to the space to do that. And we painted and we put like a beautiful pink on the wall in a couple rooms and then a nice deep blue, and like just I
mm.
wanted to make the space come to life
Yeah,
because we had to take away so many things. So
you had to pivot. In the words
had
of
to pivot.
Ross Geller, "Pivot."
Right. Pivot. We actually had to carry
Um
the couch out. So there you go. We actually had to pivot. So
um For anyone that is struggling with client retention, do
mhm.
you have any pieces of advice for them?
I do. Packages, packages, packages. I am
Mm.
just the queen of packages. Memberships, again, I'm dying to talk about my
Let's
memberships.
talk about it.
But okay, we'll talk about it. But memberships are a volume game. So before, say you're starting out or you're like, you have a base clientele, but you're trying to build that clientele, I'm all about the packages. So buy three, get one free. Or if you're not at that space, if you buy a package of three, you get 10% off or 15% off, or find ways to really add value. But in our industry, it is not a one and done thing. Like
Mhm.
skin health, taking care of your health and your hair and taking care of yourself is not a one and done thing. So really educating people that, okay, if this is the results that you're wanting, like this is where we're going to start and this is where we're going to go, and create that journey map for them and get them excited. And then when you package things, it makes it easier for them to digest and to chew on. And it's like, okay, so I know that I'm doing 3 microneedling treatments. And then in between, what am I doing? I'm doing my hydrofacial or my oxygeneo to like keep my skin really healthy and fresh and get that dead skin moving. And so create that package, really dive into their at home products and self care routine at home, skincare routine at home, and just get them set up. So
Mm.
that's important. Hair removal, the biggest thing is we do a buy five, get two free for hair removal. We
Mm.
always have. But because I do stand by our technology and all of the services that we offer, after your seventh treatment, you are locked in for $50 touch-ups for life. Like that's unheard of. That's cheaper than like a Brazilian wax. So
Wow,
why
that's
wouldn't
incredible.
you do that, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like I buy five, I get two free, and then I'm locked in for these touch-ups for life if I need
Yeah.
them. So that's our commitment to our clients saying like we know this works. So the confidence we have in our own devices and our own products, it really instills that confidence in our clients as well. So from the hop, having like really well thought out curated packages that align with your clients' goals is very important.
How do you combat the high ticket price?
Well, for us, like we created the membership program, our Glow Pro beauty membership with 3 different tiers, so people could have elevated high level treatments at a fraction of the price. So we did this, but like I said, I don't recommend it unless you have a stronger client base because it is a
Right.
volume game. Because if you're discounting too much, you might discount yourself right out of the market. So
Yes.
I say this with caution,
Right.
but you have to be so educated on your numbers. Please, 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 like know your numbers. I just think financial literacy is so important. I know you feel the same way, Heather. We've
I
talked
totally
about
agree.
this, and we could do a
Yes, I
whole other
totally agree.
podcast on
Yeah.
financial literacy. But like, know what your costs are, know what your
Yeah.
hard costs are, and like really know what your profit margin is, and then discount accordingly. But if you don't know your numbers, like you could be doing services for free, which I think I was doing for quite a few years. And I just know when I took clients, one year my accountant came to me and she said, you gave $80,000 worth of discounts this year
Oh
on like
boy.
just for your clients. I, so that kind of like gave me a bit of a kick in the
Ooh.
pants. We actually, once I stopped taking clients, like our revenue skyrocketed because I would do it for free. I loved doing what I did, but it
Yeah.
is a business. So educate yourself, know your treatment costs, and then find ways where you don't always have to discount because people want your services, but find ways to add value. Maybe it
Mhm.
is adding in a product or the way you package things or educate people. Like just make it so it's worthwhile and they're getting feeling like they're getting that little bit extra and you're giving
Mhm.
them that. It's like you're going the
Mhm.
extra mile. So
I
yeah.
totally agree. I
Hmm.
you know, that's I learned that from Estee Lauder when I started working
Yeah.
for Estee Lauder back in the day. They never discounted their products,
No.
ever. You will never get a discount on their products. Now you can because
Hmm.
they're in Sephora, but otherwise, back in the day, all they would do is they would give you more.
Yeah. Add value.
So add value. And I
Hmm.
think that as business owners, like we get caught in that like Groupon loop where it's like,
Hmm.
man, this is the death of your business.
It
Because
is.
now you're saying that your business, your services, okay, I'm throwing out a number.
Yeah.
Microneedling is worth $300 on every other day, but when you buy a Groupon, it's only worth
Hmm.
150 bucks. That's ridiculous. You're just
Yeah.
discounting your credit and your
Hmm.
service.
Yep, absolutely. And I think, well, I know our customers, our clients are so savvy now. I love it. They're so well
Totally.
educated between like, do I always love the beauty information people get on TikTok? No, I don't. But some
Yeah.
of it is really good and some of it's really valid when they're saying things like, don't get discounted services when you're dealing with your face or with your body or with your hair. Like,
Yeah.
no, like invest, right? Invest in yourself and just like find somebody that you know is going to go that extra mile and take care of you and give you the treatment that you deserve. And with that, there's a level of expertise and often there's a price tag with that. But you
Mhm.
get peace of mind as well.
And there's enough clients to go around,
Yes.
I think like I mean, I'm generalizing because I don't know where
Mhm,
everyone lives, but, we'll use Edmonton as an example.
mhm,
There's 1.3 million people in Edmonton,
mhm.
and then you have the suburbs. That's a lot of faces.
That's a
Like,
lot of heads and beds, like I say,
that's a
right? Like,
lot of heads and beds, and so,
mhm,
um and we're not even considered a big city, really,
no,
you know?
no.
So, you don't need to discount your product, but your membership is fascinating to me, and I think that,
Mhm,
I love that you say it's a volume game because, when we were having lunch that day, you
mhm.
mentioned that a lot of companies tried to do the membership right off the
Yes,
gate or out of the gate,
yes.
and then they failed.
I know, and so as much as like, yes, I should be flattered. It's like we started this game 7 years ago with our memberships, and it wasn't a thing. And but we could do it because we had the client base. And then
Right.
I would see other clinics trying to replicate. And at first I was like, oh, like they're copying us. Like, you just initially you're like, what is going on?
Totally.
But,
Yeah.
you know, it was also flattering too, but it didn't work for them. And a lot of these businesses went under. And I don't think that's the only reason, but part of me felt guilty because it's like, yes, this looks great and it sounds good, and people are taking advantage of it because it makes sense for people to come in on a regular basis and have that consistency and have that discounted price. But it has to be right time, right place, right people. Like, we had the infrastructure, and if you don't have that, it may not work how you hope that it would.
Yeah, I think that with membership specifically, and especially, have you ever read the book, The Science of Getting Rich?
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's like our Bible.
Oh yeah.
Um, and he talks about in there that what your clients pay should be less value than what they receive. So with a
Hmm.
membership, if let's say they're paying $150 a month, but they're getting a $300 service, I mean that's extensive, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
Um, it's that exchange, and we
Hmm.
can't put a dollar sign on someone's confidence. We can't put a dollar sign on someone's feeling like they can go out and date again or
Yep.
whatever, like there's so much value in our services that we offer,
Hmm.
and we discredit ourselves, especially in the beauty industry. It's like, oh, you just
Yes.
do hair.
Yeah.
Oh, when are you going to get a real job? It's like, bro, this is a real job and I'm changing lives.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like you said, when you were explaining the membership and you just threw numbers out there, you're like, okay, that's a bit excessive with saying they're saving $150. They absolutely are. With the way our
Yeah.
membership is set up, like our highest tier is $225, but there's services in there that are 400 plus dollars. So
Wow.
like it is a no-brainer. It's a minimum of a 6-month commitment, which we do intentionally because you're committing to yourself every month and to your skin. And then we have spin-offs from that as well. If you've been a member for 6 months plus, you can go to bi-monthly or you can go to quarterly. Like, there's other options. We get it. People are
Right.
busy. They have other financial obligations. So we make it so it's attainable for as many people as humanly possible.
And, people are looking for a quick buck nowadays, and
Hmm.
everyone can tell. So people are like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm going to create this app and it's going to charge my subscribers is what they would be called, but my
Yeah.
subscribers
We're
30 bucks
so
a month."
on today, hey?
I know. um, um,
Just a couple of blondies. Just.
Totally. But so I'm going to charge my subscribers 30 bucks and I'm going to have 100 and I'm going to make a smooth 3 grand a month. It's like,
Mhm.
dude, that's not how it works. And
No.
also if you're not giving someone value, they're going to opt out.
Yeah, they're gonna
And
go elsewhere.
totally. And that's not how to make money. You make money by
Mm-mm.
providing value and creating relationships and really having a passion for what you
Mhm,
do. You know, Otherwise go sell mugs with funny sayings on them,
mhm. Yep,
you know?
exactly.
Like honestly.
Oh.
Okay, this was a pleasure
Oh my
talking to you
gosh,
today,
thank
Justine.
you.
We could talk for hours, honestly.
I honestly, yeah, and we have.
We have. So is there anything going on with Lipstick Empire right now? Is there anything you want to chat about where people can find you?
Yes, so check us out on Instagram at Lipstick Empire. We love to play there. So please come and find us. Also our website, lipstickempire.ca. We just launched our new website. It's just
Ooh.
we have some new services. We've been doing the perfect peel. What else? Actually, my general manager and I just went to Monaco for the Aesthetics Medicine World Congress. And that's why we were
Okay.
in Europe, yes. And
Wow.
we learned a lot. But you know what? The biggest takeaway was, Heather, was that like we have everything we need. There were all
Mm,
the most advanced lasers in the world, treatments, like everything you could think of, and we have everything. And so we are just reimagining everything that we have and like creating different packages and like stacking our treatments and just going next level with what we have because we got it,
you
we're
got it.
we're ready to get going. And so it just kind of gave Courtney and I like a bit of a new lease, like, oh my gosh, we have everything at our fingertips, like let's get to work.
I love that. I'm proud of
Mhm.
you.
Thank you, I'm proud of you
You're
too.
killing it. Thanks, sis.
And thank you for having this space for people to come and to learn and to grow, and I'm just honored to be a part of it.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm very passionate about this. I love
Yes.
this. I think that
I
I
know.
think that we have I this is the podcast I wish I had 10 years ago,
Hmm.
even 15 years ago. And I
Yeah.
think that, talking to individuals like yourself, it's so valuable for someone
Yeah.
starting a business in the thick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for sharing everything today.
Thank you, that was wonderful.
I'll have an awesome day. And to all my listeners, we will talk to you soon. All right, another episode bites the dust. If you loved this conversation as much as I did, don't forget to hit follow, leave a review, or even send it to a friend you think would enjoy it. And because I like to keep things fun, we're always running giveaways with our amazing guests. So make sure to check out the show notes, our Instagram page, get in on the details on how to get the free stuff because it's free and fun. And who doesn't like that? Another little disclaimer. While I love sharing advice and business wisdom, I am not your lawyer, I'm not your accountant, and I'm not your fairy godmother. If you do want to be best friends, though, you can hit me up. Everything on this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only, so no lawsuits, okay? Thank you for hanging out with me today. If you'd like to hang out more, you can find me on Instagram at I am Heather Dick and at the Expansion Code. And all of our free resources and consulting packages are on the website www.theexpansioncode.ca. I appreciate you being here more than you know. I will see you next time.